You do not need me, and I can see it. You got my heart in pieces for you, yeah. There's nothing just breaking my heart, and I'm into this fast just for you, yeah. Tell me now, how can I live with this love inside of me? It hurts so bad that I can't breathe. Tell me now, how can I live? You always want what you can't have, and while you have it, you can. Still, my heart, the moment I laid eyes on it. Well, how do you know how you really feel? And everything changes. Where will I go? Know what you mean. How will I know? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You always want what you can't have, and while you have it, you can. Still, my heart, the moment I laid eyes on it. Well, how do you know how you really feel? And everything changes. Where will I go? Know what you mean. How will I know?
Exeedme revolution going on. A warm welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with more of the Exeedme blockchain tournament. It is myself, Scriv, of course, joined by Wolfie. We will be walking you through the action for the second quarter final of our tournament as well. It's looking like already after the first day, a pretty interesting kind of approach to things from some of these teams. So hopefully we get another close showing, another exciting showing this evening.
That's a very polite way of putting it. It was a little bit of a mixed bag on day one, wasn't it? We had some players coming back from a break. We had some players who clearly knew what they were doing, and we had a few players who looked like they installed the game yesterday. So it was something a little bit different. And I think today we've got some potential for a real banger.
Yes, we'll keep that up our sleeve for now. There is certainly some interesting names that are being thrown around. But we'll take a quick little look at the schedule as well, just to show you guys the upcoming games, the game that happened yesterday, maybe if you were not a part of it. Ferrum Network up against Guardian, sorry, was a pretty solid, I think, showing from Chain Guardians the whole way through. Ferrum Network towards the end did start to just about pull things back, but not enough. In this best of one format, there is no room for slipping up, as it were.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate because we saw a couple of players on that team who clearly knew what they were doing and clearly were very talented. I think it was just a case of Chain Guardians, the average skill ceiling was that little bit higher, right? Everybody was turning up, everybody was hitting some shots. There wasn't a player who had no armor and was running a Glock 70% of the time.
Yes.
Small margins make a big difference in this game, and it's going to be intriguing to see them moving forward. But on to today's one, we've got Chainlink coming up against the Umbrella Network. Obviously, a little bit of a surprise coming up for the guys in the stream as well, but two very intriguing companies.
Yes, certainly. And to give us a little bit more about one of those companies, we do indeed. I believe if he's ready and raring to go, we've got Mike from Chainlink here for a quick little interview to give us a rundown about what they're all about.
Hey guys, pleasure to be here with you today.
Hello, hello. All right, so we've got a few questions set out, of course, but I am keeping my eye on the chat as well. There will be prizes going out. You guys give us some questions over in the chat as well and get involved and find more of what Chainlink is about. So to kick us off, the first question that we've got here for you, Mike, is what is Chainlink all about?
So Chainlink, I guess, a quick way to describe it is we allow smart contracts on any blockchain platform the ability to connect to highly reliable, tamper-proof inputs and outputs of real-world events and data.
There you go. There you go. Our second question is, have you got any new product releases maybe that you can discuss with us that have been coming out, something that you're working on currently or releasing in the near future?
Yeah, sure. So a couple of recent releases that we had, a lot of people think of us on Ethereum, but we're also on Binance Smart Chain as well as Matic. And we also just deployed our VRF solution on Matic as well. So it's now on both Ethereum and Matic. And I think probably the biggest thing that we've released in the past few months is off-chain reporting. So off-chain reporting allows us to save 80 to 90% of the gas costs for our price feeds, which power probably 50 to 80% of all DeFi transactions and secure about, depending on the day, 15 to 20 billion of assets throughout the entire DeFi ecosystem. So that will allow us to do a lot of cool things, such as increase the number of nodes for each price feed, increase the frequency of the heartbeat, and also lower the deviation threshold in a lot of our feeds. So it's something that we've been looking forward to a long time over here. It's been in development for probably 2 years now. And finally, we were able to put it out and put it into production. We had the press release, I think, go out last Wednesday.
There you go. There you go. Now, the final question that we've got set for you before I start taking them from the chat. Rumor has it that there's a couple players maybe dotted in your team that, you know, some of the viewers might know. Certainly, Wolfie and I might know as well. Could you maybe elaborate on that a little bit more?
Well, are you referring to me? Because I used to play Counter-Strike very actively during the 1.3, 1.4, 1.5 days. So I was on a couple of notable teams, Cal I, Cal P, shout out Pernicious Vengeance. But we do have a couple of special community members joining us today, namely Henry G from Cloud9 and Bitsouffle from France, who played pro CS Source. So we do have some help from the community, which I think we're going to need all the help we can get today. A lot of us haven't played very much Counter-Strike in the last 10 to 15 years, but we want to win.
Well, there you go. There you go. Do you think maybe the experience that you have, regardless, it might have been a while, but just that kind of higher level of like communication and things that you need for Team Counter Strike, is that going to give you an edge this evening?
I tried to play a little bit of Counter Strike over the past couple of weeks. I think my game sense has gone out the window, but my aim's still there a little bit. So hopefully the ping isn't too bad. I know we're playing on some European servers, and I'm over here on the west coast of the United States, but it definitely can't hurt. It's definitely not going to hurt, and I think we're gonna bring it home today, and we're gonna get a W for Team Chainlink.
There you go. There you go. So taking a question from our chat. Now you will have to forgive me if this is a very, very simple question or something that you've already answered. I'm not as knowledgeable in the crypto space as perhaps you are, but CL11 has said, when does the staking of Link in nodes become available?
That's something that we can't answer, unfortunately, but I do appreciate the enthusiasm.
There you go. There you go. Fair enough. All right. Thank you very much, Mike. I think that'll do us for the interview. I wish you all the best for the game this evening.
Shout out to all Link Marines.
All right, there you go. There you go, indeed. So we will, of course, get to see Mikey as the captain. He's had to dip off quickly. You might have caught behind him. He's got his setup ready and raring to go. So not, awfully far to move. He is going to be playing this evening for Chainlink, and hopefully we will be getting into the veto nice and quick. I do believe Mr. Saunders is still with us, still here. You can't see his face at the moment, which perhaps is a good thing. Either way, I'm so sorry. So rude. But look, I think that he's given us a little bit of insight if we talk about the Counter-Strike here, right, into some of the things that we can expect. Maybe, yes, they have that experience to call back on, but perhaps the mechanical skill might be a bit lacking.
Yeah, I think from the players he's listed, obviously Henry G is going to be the big household name, right, from Cloud9. But these are players who've put some time into the Source 1.345 sort of era. So as much as the aim maybe goes, the game sense sort of dies with it as well. You can't take away those hours in the game, right? It at its core is the exact same game it always has been. I think it was Beast Do Fly he mentioned specifically as being a pro in the Source days. Obviously, Mike with a bit of 1.3 to 5 experience. Henry G, well, let's see some of the Pocket Cloud9 strats coming out to really start rocking things here. It's looking like, I'm going to be honest, a pretty daunting prospect for the Umbrella Network coming up against some true veterans of Counter-Strike.
Yeah, for sure. We don't have as much information available about them, which in a way might be a bit of a bad thing. When you've got all this that we're saying about Chainlink, it doesn't bode as well. But I don't know. It kind of does depend, doesn't it? If they're super warm on that Umbrella Network side of things, you never know. The mechanics might just be enough to carry them on through. But yeah, like you're saying, I think way back in, it might take them a bit of time to get it out. And in a best of three, it'd probably be a very different story. He did say to us, though, to be fair, beforehand, before the show started, that if they don't get Nuke, Inferno, or Dust 2, then their confidence on the other maps kind of falls off completely. So we'll have to see. And I think that kind of comes down to the fact that, the other maps are a little newer, a little fresher, whereas, your Dust 2, your Inferno, they might be able to recognize a lot of that from their 1.3 and Source days particularly.
I mean, to be fair to them, we've ended up with their exact 3 maps. Unfortunately, I was really gunning for a nuke there. I was really feeling a bit of nuke, but we've ended up on Dust 2. I think our predictions from yesterday will probably hold true for the entirety of the event, that we're going to be playing the Pug maps. We're going to be going back to, Dust 2 has been in the game for probably rocking on 20 years now. It is always a map. Everyone knows it. There's literally no room for error on Dust 2. Like, everybody knows the map, everybody knows how to play it. If you've had the game for more than 5 minutes, you should understand the basics of it. So obviously having like the experience is still going to be a major factor. I still think we are going to see a little bit of a stomp, unfortunately. But for the Umbrella Network, they've got something, right? They're not going to nuke where Henry G is going to have his half a dozen smoke executes outside. They're not going to Inferno where it's going to be here's a molly, a flash, and a HE to just wreck banana control.
Right.
They're going to a nice puggy map, get the individuals in, hope they've got some guys who've been putting some hours in, a ringer level 10 face. It would really make things interesting. So we'll have to wait and see who they've got. But I think it's still got potential to be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's one player with like the crown sticker as his, and I'm really clutching at straws here, but that's something that's kind of exclusive to CS. So to me, shows that maybe there's a bit of experience there with the game itself on the Umbrella Network side of things. But time will tell. A lot of what is happening on the show at the moment is kind of the guesswork when it comes to the players and what they're capable of. Nice to have some information about the chain guys, but at this point, it's looking very, very good for them. They got one of the maps that they wanted, individually based as well. Yes, indeed, maybe it's not quite there, but again, that muscle memory on a map like Dust 2,
Oh, yeah.
I feel, yes, there have been changes. Palm Tree, for example, used to be a call. There ain't no Palm Tree there anymore. But all the same, I think that even within Go, the change from old Dust 2 to what we would call, the current iteration, it's not really new anymore because it's been around for so long. But even that wasn't that massive. It was more of like a visual change. I think Tunnels maybe went through the most amount of changes. But even then, they've still had to work on it. I think it's just such a familiar playground that I've not played for ages kind of thing may well go out the window. They might use that as an excuse if they lose. But for me, I feel like unless indeed Umbrella Network, they do have like a level 10 who's a Dust 2 master, then I think things are not really looking too bad for the Chainlink guys. But of course, this is our bracket. This is how things are going to feed up. You can see as well, if you didn't join us yesterday, Chain Guardians, they beat Ferrum Network 16-10. And they will be our first team moving forwards. And to be fair, if indeed, as we are kind of early predicting, but if Chainlink are able to pick up a victory here, that would be a really interesting semi-final.
Yeah, I think it definitely would. I mean, Robbie, who's the CEO, I want to say, co-founder at the very least of the Chain Guardians guys, he was saying, he's played with a lot of pros in the past. He's got some serious experience in the game, and we saw flashes of it yesterday as well. You saw those moments where the game sense was kicking in, the aim, while a little bit rusty, was still mechanically pretty solid, and I think that's the advantage, right? Once we start getting through to those semi-finals, to those finals, you've weeded out some of the teams who haven't got the experience, who haven't got the hours in the game, and you're starting to get down to the real firefighters. And of course, they're playing for more opportunities to show their product, right? So there is a little bit at stake here. You get more chances to come on the show, talk to your fans, talk to the people who are investing in you, and just get your name out there, which is what so many of these companies have signed up to this to do. So it's an awesome opportunity. And I can understand why teams like Chainlink are going to go pick up someone like Henry G and make sure they're making it as far through as they can.
Yeah, well, famously, I mean, they mentioned it yesterday as well that Henry's a bit into crypto and everything. I don't really know how deep it goes. Like I mentioned to you beforehand, is a bit into crypto just owning some Bitcoin, or is it indeed being involved in these sort of tokenized I did not understand a word that Mike was saying, to be honest, and yet I indeed own a bit of Bitcoin essentially. So, it's like how far is he into this? But it's interesting to see him on the server from a Counter-Strike perspective as well, to get a bit of a taste of that. I'm not sure about yourself, but for me, I didn't watch, any source. I never got to see him play. It was purely casting. And even then, by the time that I got involved in Go, he was a fairly established caster around that sort of 2015, 2016 time. Definitely not at his peak, but he was getting up there. So this is kind of cool. He's the last one to join the server, of course. Love that. But all the same, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch him play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think if you're looking back to Henry G's source years, you're probably looking at before I could walk. He's been around a little while. He's got some time in the server, hasn't he? But we're going to be getting started with things very, very swiftly indeed. We've actually managed to get all 10 players in the server. I'm just flicking over to my right to look at it inside of a couple of minutes, which is quite frankly miraculous if anybody knows what's been going on. But we do have the knife round in session. Always a little bit of a messy one. Doesn't tend to be the most structured of rounds. Traditionally, you'll see all 5 players from both teams group up in one position, and the T side have just about managed that now, playing around those long doors and being baited out. This is going to get nasty very quickly. A team kill coming in as well, just to make matters worse. A 2-on-1. And Henry G just lurking back, getting himself a couple of exit frags on the board there, nice and early on, pumping those stats up.
Hell yeah. But that's one of those things, to be fair, that I think may well actually catch a few players off guard. If you're familiar with CS and you're familiar with MM, of course there's no knife rounds And
Yeah,
there is a bit of
true.
strategy to them. And when you've only got a best of one, you know, could make all the difference getting your preferred start. Again, as we saw yesterday, starting on the T side of things, you can be incredibly dominant. And it was those early rounds, that early run of rounds that Chain Guardians were able to pick up that really did indeed make the difference. So could be a similar story here. They have, I believe, opted to start on that T side of things as well, if I'm understanding the chat correctly. And we should be getting into the action pretty shortly here. So exciting stuff. I mean, looking at just a little bit of the warm-ups, right? There are a few players, it seems, on the Umbrella Network side of things who are kind of familiar, a nice little bit of movement. And then you have players such as Emic, for example, who's still here on the default crosshair and whatnot. So it will be interesting to see how things go. But we're straight into the pistol. We've got a bit of utility over on that T side. Early fights being taken. It's a B rush, of course, Jack. There is no messing around here, and the first frag comes in for the big man.
Of course, it's a B rush. No two doubts about it. Henry G getting very aggressive early on and adding to his tally as well. Nice shot onto Molten deep into CT. For Rope Jumper and Indy, this one's already feeling awkward. Henry G making life incredibly difficult in those mid doors, just not quite exposing his head for long enough for the shot to connect. Buying time will finally go down, but without that defuse kit and with so long already off the clock, this is going to be so difficult. Matthew does spot out the first man, can't quite land the shot, and they are starting to lose numbers here. Rope Jumper adding to his tally, 3 on the board, but that lack of time is really starting to become a problem. Mike trades 1 for 1, and Emic on 2 HP, playing this so intelligently. The frag will come through, but without that defuse kit, without that utility, there's nothing Rope Jumper can do. All 5 kills, the ace in the round, still not quite enough to get it over the line for the Umbrella Network.
That's unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed. Chainlink. Ooh. Counting their lucky stars. Henry with a solid start, but also, you know, maybe needs to be careful that once that strong member of the squad falls, it is early days, but he's already showing himself to be a confident member, a prominent member, and as I'm sure our viewers know, he still plays the game quite regularly. So just need to be careful not to go down. Ooh, a big triple coming in early on. It is an anti-eco. That'll make him feel good. They'll get it cleanly on the board. Again, does die to the USP, but Mike, he was going for an eco. It's genius move. Genius move. He's got himself a free AK and 7 grand in the bank. Nearly 8 grand in the bank.
That's certainly one way to play the second round, but we start to get into the interesting stuff now, of course. First rifles. All 5 looking for the M4s. Molten opting for the silence version. I did have a little poke at the players in that eco, and there's a good few thousand hours across the board for the Umbrella Network. They do look like a team who should be able to bring something to the party here, so we'll have to wait and see if their CT side can hold. The rotation certainly for now looking pretty intelligent indeed. The early push going to start to make its way out of these mid doors. Rope Jumper there to lock it down. Henry G and Emic gone, and through the smoke, Fan G will find a third. Matthew and Mike left to pick up the pieces. Surely not another. Through the smoke, into the crosshairs. All too easy. I think Chainlink just caught being a little bit complacent there as Mike, well, he's left with an ace clutch required. Fia's not going to give him anything from back plat. Nice and clean from the Umbrella Network. And that's more like it, right? Nice, simple Counter-Strike, executed well. Lack of utility coming out from the guys on the Chainlink side of things makes life very difficult.
Yeah, it is somewhat, I don't want to say disrespectful, but it's very, very aggressive early on from the Chainlink boys, right? And not quite having the full picture, I guess. Now, hopefully, they have the full picture. There is also that argument, in all fairness, that we have some more experienced players. You'll have the likes of Henry for sure saying, oh, they should be ecoing this round, but actually they'd pulled the M4s out around early. So that is the strategy of, you know, the Exeedme blockchain tournament here. Bisufly taking a little bit of damage as well early on. But yeah, you can see some little things here. It's a nice little nuanced flash towards long. Bit early. Maybe needs a bit more information to go off of and not peeking off of them. So there is somewhat a lack of confidence, but that kind of thing comes from hours of play. An attempt at the cross smoke. They've done a few lineups beforehand, but that one's not quite made it, unfortunately. Henry G will get a nice one tap to open things up, but it's quickly evened back up. This is, you know, looking relatively competitive here. Indy does need to be careful. Fidger, though, on the flank. It is being watched. They are somewhat wary of the fact, but they've got to be careful. Great off angle here. A nice finish onto Bistu flying. It looks like a few more maybe for Fidger. No, going to get taken down. Okay, and Henry turning tail back towards the A bomb site. This is a chaotic round, to say the least, but Chainlink somehow coming out on top so far.
Finding themselves that man advantage, and it looks like doubling back towards the B bomb site. This gets very risky with 30 seconds left on the clock. No utility at all for that T side. If they can't get a smoke out for the cross, it could be an absolute slaughter. Van G with a Molotov and HE to potentially deny this bomb plant, and a timing from Molten as well. Should have a gift of a frag here as he's peeking in towards the upper tunnels. He opts to let them go. And could that be to his demise? Henry G's got to try and lock this plant in. Van G not really close enough to bomb that utility in, so the bomb will go down, and now the fights will start to come through. Molten doesn't seem entirely aware he's got the frag, but he has managed to get himself on the board, and a 2-on-2, make that 2-on-1. Henry G required for the clutch, and it's not going to happen. Molten just timing it perfectly in through the tunnels, and the Umbrella Network, again, looking pretty damn impressive. It was a messy, scrappy fight along, but they came out a man down and still managed to make the retake stick.
Hey, listen, man, I know it's early, but I think we have a game on our hands. This is looking very, very fun indeed. Yesterday, you know, it started off, it was super one-sided, and then I think it got to a point where Chain Guardians were a little complacent with their lead, and that's why the close came in, if I'm being real about it. Whereas this one certainly looks much more interesting. Henry's a little overzealous with the buy here, it seems, folks. Perhaps a bit frustrated at the previous round that he couldn't quite clutch up. He does go for one of 2 AKs. The rest of the squad, you know, a light buy, really, from them. So that's something that'll make life a bit awkward. Sure, they've got loss bonus stacking up, etc. And there is potential, as always. It's a questionable Molotov from Molten. But all the same, things looking... Oh, once again, very, very slow. That is a risky peak to go for.
Needs to work out that he can bounce those flashes off a few corners, keep swinging to get them out, and not quite finding the purchase he would have liked with them either. As now, Emic thinking about the creep up. They have got this long control chain link. They're happy to sit back on it for now, hoping that maybe Matthew or Henry on those 2 rifles can find some kind of purchase, because with just 1 smoke and 1 flash, they've got a little bit of utility to work the cross. There'll be a gap with that smoke, though, and a glaring one at that. Doesn't bounce off the right-hand side as expected, and this is going to turn into a slaughter on the cross. Molten, a gift of a first. That's a beautiful pop flash for Henry G. How much can he get off it? Just the one, as again, India's there to bail his teammates out of the situation, and despite the tags, the frags are just not coming. It's Matthew left alive for the Chainlink boys. He's crept up long in a decent position, but Fiho, despite the Fortnite character profile picture, is looking pretty crispy.
Listen, man, what are you trying to say about Fortnite? I don't know. It's a fun game sometimes. It was, you know, I used to play it in like season 3. Got the John Wick skin, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but it just changes way too often. Do you know what I mean? They're catering to a very young audience, so they have to make sure that it's nice and fresh, and it just makes it a bit hard to keep up with, to be honest. Henry G going fast, taking down Indy. Rope jumper. Oh, it's the right idea, to be fair. You know, there was a flash in, well timed, not quite landing the shots. Molten not quite recognizing, you know, if you walk into a wall, it is going to throw off your, well, aim, as it were, really, and just send that utility to the moon. Ooh, Emic a little slow, but does actually manage to take down Molten. I don't think that was the target that he was going for. Henry G going to fall on the backside. It's now a 4-on-2. Another crazy round here, Jack.
That M4 spray not quite warmed up for Henry, a little awkward, and it does seem to me, at least, that Henry's probably taking the calling here. They take that early long control, back out of it immediately, post the AWPR and Emic. He gets a free pick as the CTs have to reaggress for information, and now, if Chainlink can get any kind of a read over towards this B-bomb site, it's a free round, right? Fee has stuck in towards Gandalf. Van G has aggressed somewhat on short, but isn't really in a position to deny anything. And if the T's just barrel in like they're going to here, a smoke and a flashbang in towards those B doors, this round should be done before it even really has an opportunity to start, to be honest with you. CT side retake onto that B-bomb site is going to be such a nightmare, as they are starting to get an inkling. The smoke lineup actually lands as well, perfectly obscuring the vision on the doors. So a free cross. And it's a question of, do the CTs want to chance their arm here? Thea through the smoke, going to try for it. Not going to happen, though. The denial comes through, and surely at this point, 1v4 Van G. Economy not great for the CT side, is going to go for it and takes his head off as well. Beastu with a lovely little shot there. And it's, as much as I say it's not great economy for the CT side, it's more unbalanced, right? Van G can probably drop across a couple rifles. They can definitely get a buy on the board. I think this round is really going to be the critical one finances-wise.
Yeah, absolutely. Chainlink, a key round in the previous, though, you have to say, right? Getting it on the board cleanly, not losing too many players themselves, will set them up into a pretty good position. And now we will see moving forwards. Only the one kit available. That utility is sporadic. It is nuanced, but, you know, buying the head armor and all that kind of stuff would have saved them a bit of bank on that Umbrella Network side of things. This is a great angle from Van, able to drop Henry, the opposing G, on the other side of things. And a big name, in all fairness. That might have worked 15 years ago, but unfortunately, Mike, that's not a lineup these days. Maybe they're trying to, you know, explain it to him quickly, and everything's a bit different. But they got their dust too, you know. They're confident on their dust too, apparently. So we're expecting big things here from Chainlink.
I mean, the basics are looking pretty good. Nice crossfire setup. Mike will find the frag off the back of it. So back into this 4-on-4, and Emic, he stayed posted on long this whole time. He knows there's been no re-aggressions from the CT side, and if he just silently works his way up, there's actually no presence watching for him. You've got Rope Jumper in towards the elevator, and a man on short in Fiha. Sure, they've got the mechanics to try and make this work, but they really haven't got the presence to do so. The smokes will cut them out. The Molotov will really stop Fiha from getting anywhere near that bomb site, and as they start to cross through, this should be a relatively free plant. Just the one man in any real position to contest, and he's given his life away. Beastu very quick on the shot. Rope Jumper looking like he's toying with the Kukli, but that leaves him very vulnerable. It's awkward, but Emmett still finds the shot. And Van G and Indy, again, CT side in a very awkward clutch. This time at least over on that A bomb site. But with the amount of utility the T's have remaining, surely this round is a done deal.
Well, you say, Mike gives away a bit of an easy one. Molotov going in from Indy, spotting a few in on the site, waiting for Van to wrap around. And, well, they're all distracted by Indy. However, trading him quickly leaves Van in an even harder situation. Emic with the right idea, spotting him out, and there's just no time. Van really couldn't stop holding W in that situation, and doing so costs him the round. So Chainlink will take the lead, and we talked about it being a very key round. You can see across to the money. There's not an awful lot of it for the Umbrella Network. The smart decision here would be to eco around this AWP, maybe a few upgraded pistols here and there. Whether that's what they go for is another question.
It's a big call. I mean, with the 2,400 loss bonus, I'm almost tempted to full force around it. Almost tempted. With the utility a CT side requires these days, I'd almost be tempted to try. Instead, they're going to gamble the pistols over towards long. Fiha has been able to recover the Deagle, does connect one very clean shot, but without an AWP there to back it up, it's a very awkward take indeed. And just the one frag found. Free A bomb site coming out for Chainlink. Henry G should be able to get that bomb dotted down nice and quickly. Van, it's going to at least catch a timing, a leg as well. Can't quite connect the second shot onto Matthew, and that could well prove critical. The AWP's still peeking in. Henry G looking for the aggression. Lovely little flick from Van. But does he want to get himself into another one of these big clutch situations? A 3v1 now. AWP in his hands. He's actually going to find another pick. Emic goes down, but Matthew quick on the trade. And yeah, losing that AWP, I mean, you look across at those finances, they could glass cannon it, but otherwise they're looking at the rifles.
I think probably wise to go for the safe play. Yeah, indeed. We will do so. Someone get a kit. Get a kit. Please. Okay, no one's going to get a kit. Molten's actually going to walk away with, you know, spare money in the bank. But that's fine. That's not a problem. Henry G holding here into B tunnels. That's a nasty angle. One that Fiha is not going to win, well, 9 times out of 10, regardless of his strength as a player, to be honest with you. It's a great angle from Henry, but a better one from Van. Triple spray down into the tunnels. The bomb at his feet. and the round in his hands. Rope Jumper will trade him as he does get a little overzealous for an AK, I believe, but nonetheless, a 1v3 with the bomb right at their feet should be doable for the Umbrella Network.
Should be is the key word, but a relatively simple cleanup. Mike, all those years of experience really going to have to come through if he wants to make something of it. Matthew, excuse me, not going to land though. Indy, all too easy to clean things up. 3 players kept alive. Rope's going to grab himself that AWP as well. That surely is going to be critical moving forwards, right? Getting that extra firepower. It's been a very back and forth start to things, and the T-side economy really starting to show those signs of wear and tear. The AK's coming out, but at significant cost. Emic only 2650 after consistently reinvesting into the AWP, so he'll have to drop down onto that Deagle. And if Umbrella Network take this one, if they manage to get it across the line, it could be so critical. Beast2 goes fast, gets the first, but traded by the Molotov. And with the nades starting to pile up, they should at least be able to hold on here, the CT side. A man down, but Fiha here, pop flash over the top. Everybody fully blind. Beautiful shot for the first, looking for more, but can just fall off the angle and will do so now as he allows that pit control to come through for the T side. Lovely little passage of play there out towards a long. And 3v3, how do Chainlink look to root this? Henry G getting very aggressive on the plateau peak just to try and buy time for his teammates, I think.
Oh, Fiha, maybe clicking the wrong button there, taking silencer off in the middle of a battle. That's not necessarily the most advised thing, but good plays from him so far in this round to bring Umbrella Network back into the potential. What is happening on the backside here? Van G sees 2 of them cross. Oh, he only manages to find 1, though. That's so very awkward. Henry, meanwhile, has been left in pit to find himself a free kill on towards Molten. Yeah, definitely a weird one for me. Van, I mean, it's the right idea, but the execution wasn't quite there. The Ts are left split. I think the CTs are left very confused as to where the bomb is going to end up. Emic can't plant there. He figures it out eventually. Here we go. Gets the plant in. Does need to be careful that he doesn't get isolated, though, in all seriousness. Henry's quite far away.
He's trying to catch these rotations, and he might get his opportunity as well. Fiha seems aware. I think he's heard the footsteps. He's going to hard clear Henry G, and he'll go down. Emic now, 1v2 clutch. Didn't know where to plant the bomb before. Now starts to swing out of the car. The aim's a little awkward, and Fiha looking crisp as ever. Will draw things up nice and level for the Umbrella Network. 5 apiece for them. And I mean, to be honest, this one really feels like it's going down to the wire. It's back and forth. We've got some individuals popping off on both sides of the equation. Fiha having another fantastic round personally. And yeah, I think Henry G's going to need a little bit of a carry from him, right? We're going to need some calls coming out. We're going to need some control to be taken because whilst the initial round's been good for Chainlink, they've started to lose the wheels on the cart a little bit towards the death.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're seeing a case of can the strong players within the lineup do enough to take down, you know, a bit more of an evenly spread defense, as it were, right? And at the moment, the answer is no, unfortunately. I mean, not dropping behind, but certainly not having the impact that, like you say, they need Henry to have. So here's a big question in these next few rounds as to whether things start to get away from them. We do have Beast2 actually putting in some solid utility. I love this idea. Flashing through the smoke as well. Not ready for it at all. Rope Jumper taking down the rest of the team coming through the smoke to join Henry. And well, these MAC-10s are absolute rampant right now. Fiha trying on the backside to recover things, but again, pressure getting to him a little bit. Perhaps does need to be careful peeking into the AWP, but missed shots left, right, and center right now, allowing him to find, well, just the one so far, but maybe a little more. Takes down Henry, tagged down to 4 HP, lucky as you like. And again, Chainlink, a solid advantage that has found its way, not completely, but certainly partially down the drain.
They needed that smoke a little bit earlier, didn't they? You could see Chainlink floundering around, trying to find it on the ground as Beast2 spotted through the top of it. Good damage from Van G. He's leveled the playing field with Fiha and Beast2 both on 4 HP now. Fiha might be able to get the drop. He's gone very quick out towards long, but Mike just a little bit quicker on the draw. And once again, Van G, how many times have we seen him in the clutch? Does have a low HP player to work with. Mike, ever so slightly isolated, is just running about on this bomb site. Aggressive angle, finds a dink, but through the corner of the wall. So Van G still 41 HP to work with. Short plant. And does he just straight stick this? Pros don't fake, but he's running out of time. He needs to get aggressive on this fight. He'll find it, but I don't think he's got enough time. The defuse will come in, but it will more than likely. Yeah, I have got my timings right. The all-in vein. It is going to be Chainlink taking that round, taking the lead once again. A 6th on the board for them. And this just keeps going back and forth, Scriv. It really does feel like these two teams are absolutely duking it out at the moment.
Hey, this is what we wanted, man. You know, we're here for a bit of exposure for these companies, right? But also for some nice, fun, friendly competition. And this, indeed, is what we're getting in this matchup for sure. Do need to be careful in a round like this, right? They are on the eco for the most part. Soft eco, I guess you could say. If they lose a few too many men, well, it's going to end up being costly. There's a team kill in play, but these Deagles, backed up by USPs, are doing some decent damage. It looks like just about able to get it over the line. We usually say that bare minimum of 3 is what you want to aim for, and you'll see into this next round, perhaps if you're not as familiar with CS, why the drops across here are going to be a little rough for that Chainlink side, therefore allowing the Umbrella Network to maybe get their claws back in.
2 players kept alive. We always talk about it. 3's the magic number. Gives you room to build your economy. Gives you more rifles saved than you have to rebuy. Just the 2 players staying alive against that full eco. But Henry G does not care. Holds W, taking a leaf out of Art's playbook. Straight up short, looking for more aggression as well. It's awkward, but the spray will connect. And Henry G just single-handedly, he is done with this round, has opened up the A-bomb site. 5-on-3 retake. Bomb planted for Plat with an AWP on Matthew posted. This round should be a save already if we're really honest with ourselves. The Umbrella Network stuck in towards CT. Van G trying to make the rotation over towards short, but the clock slowly but surely ticking down. The utility locking them out of this. It's a beautiful dink through the smoke, but there's just no time left for these kind of antics. They're getting tickle damage onto Emic, but that bomb plant, the AWP in the same spot, they've got to get something going now if they want any chance at all, and that bomb simply too far gone. The 3-man save will be called. They toy about with the idea of going into that A-bomb site for a little while and get some good damage off. I think if they stay there a few more seconds, if they got a little more utility, maybe they can get someone down to the bomb. But unfortunately, not going to be the case. It will be another round T-side on the board for Chainlink. What I will say is that these games tended to be a little T-sided yesterday. It did seem like the scrappy, everyone for themselves style of play lent itself to better T-side half, so potentially still some room for Umbrella Network to come back into this.
Yeah, you know, although we give Dust2 a lot of smack for being a bit stale at the top level, it can be a little difficult to understand how your CT sides need to work, and a good amount of changing of position as well, which might leave a few players uncomfortable, right? If you're spawning miles away from long, you're going to have to say, look, I'm really far away from long. We need someone else to pick up that spot and get the util in because I can't do it. I'll get clapped if they're rushing long. Someone else is going to have to do it. And I think that kind of communication is not quite there for the Umbrella Network, right? That sort of thing. Do we play heavy on B? Do we play 1 mid, 1 B, 3A? That kind of thing. It doesn't seem to be there for them. However, MP9 in the backlines, maybe that's all they need. A bit of a spooky spot from Rope Jumper, does the damage, sets up Vihar, and there you go. They can work well off each other on a basic kind of level, leaving Matthew with it all to do for Chainlink.
Really nice crossfire setup. Matthew, too many targets, not enough time. Vihar going to be able to deal with it with ease, and that crossfire, that bait and switch of the MP9 with the FAMAS there to back it up. CS 101 done very, very well indeed. Don't even need that much utility to support it. MP9 takes the early contact, draws the crosshairs, keeps the vision, and Vihar swings out. Easy frags start to come through. He drops back in. The crosshairs are looking at him, and there's the MP9 again, right? It's playing whack-a-mole with one too many targets for the Chainlink boys. So the Umbrella Network with the ascendancy as we do go into the last round of this first half. Some sacrifices made for Chainlink. A Mac 10 for Beastu. Emic, once again, those AWP investments not paying off. He's going to be dropping down onto the Mac 10, but it's Henry G straight out of mid. Again, just wanting to take ownership of these rounds. 2 big frags to open things up. Van G from the car, though, doing some good work. The triple spray down of his own. Henry G being outclassed a little bit here, shown up at his own game, but he will go straight through the smoke to take out Rope Jumper. Baits out the next fight as well, but his teammate can't back him up. 8-7 as we head into the halftime. The narrowest of margins the lead for Chainlink, and I think they're going to need some real leadership on their CT side if they're going to stand a chance of taking this one over the line.
Yeah, listen, man. I mean, decent to be fair, right? Like in the final couple rounds to recover things back, I think that's a pretty nice recovery. Um, Certainly seems one of the things I hadn't checked. To be fair, right, is we do have a few players connecting from America and a few
Yeah.
more on the side of Chainlink, which obviously is going to mean when you've not played for a while and then you're having to come in and play on 300 ping apparently, it is going to be a little rough to keep up with the rest of the action, I suppose. And I think it looks like on the other side of things that maybe, yes, Molten and India are more familiar with CS, but their connection is also a little wacky. But I think they've, for me, seem to have a little bit more comfort with the game, have perhaps played it a bit more recently. But look, we'll see. We'll see if the setups are here and if Henry can command the troops. Like I say, that CT side actually on a basic kind of level can be a bit hard to understand from time to time. So maybe if he can just say, okay, look, you've spawned here, so therefore you need to go long, or we're going to play 2 on B this round rather than 1 mid, 1 B, that kind of thing. We'll see. We'll see. It's a straight up long rush coming in from the Umbrella Network, though. They're hoping to make this work. No utility is a little wacky for me. I think there's a smoke in there maybe that's been thrown. Okay, there you go, towards CT. That's nice, but the CTs are still holding things down. They were sitting on the A bomb site waiting for this attack to come in, and so far doing a solid job, but it is into a 3-on-3 as the head being spotted. No, Indy got to win this fight. He does. That is a key one. And now a lot of the work here is on Henry G as well. Matthew, he's not brought anything up, and we have seen, of course, little inexperience on his side. So all on to 13 HP Henry to clutch up.
Early Dink really going to cause some problems now, trying to strafe across the angles, but can't get anything done. 2 kills in the round, but just not quite enough again for Chainlink. The initial setups looked pretty solid, but as you said, a couple of players not investing, some slightly awkward angles. I mean, that clear onto Emic was just absolutely brutal. I'm going to go have a check, and yeah, 150 ping getting cleared like that. You've got no chance on earth in hitting that shot. So a little unfortunate. The ping is going to cause some issues for some of the NA boys, but you got to work with it, right? Play to your strengths, run and gun, make yourself as difficult as possible to hit. We've all been there with the MM games, and the guy who's lagging across your screen can't hit him with an AWP to save your life. There's Umbrella Network. Well, they've got a strat, and if it isn't broken, why would they try and fix it? Long take again, smokes for the cross, looking for the straight execute. Beasto this time going to pick the corner of the smoke, and a slightly isolated rope jumper will go down initially. He's got another angle to work with. That smoke has left gaps on both sides, but the pot flash not going to do it. Van G with the early trade, and now Henry G really needs to start rotating in rapidly. He knows it, tucks himself into Gandalf. He's going to try and contest the bomb plant. Lovely shot for one, but again, Umbrella Network, the fundamentals really looking strong here, trading efficiently and finding themselves that man advantage. Bomb to be planted. Matthew on a very long rotate from B. And realistically, it's got to be on Mike, right? We need something out of that one dig.
Well, there's your answer, unfortunately. Matthew coming in from CT. Awkward angle to fight from, in all fairness, and will get tapped down by the MAC-10. Umbrella Network on the T side, looking scary already. It is early doors, but, you know, Chainlink. And I would say this anyway. It's going to sound like I'm trying to make a pun, and I'm really not. But a CT side is only as strong as its weakest link, right? And at the moment, unfortunately, Chainlink, I think there's a few too many holes, and they've not had enough time. They don't have enough time in a best of one to plug said holes. So something's got to change big time, and already the econ is all over the place, which on your T side, you can forgive a little bit. It's cheaper. It's easier to work with. On the CT side, it is going to really, really cost you. It is going to come back to bite you in the backside a little later on. So, you know, like I say, and like I said yesterday, someone needs to be the voice to step up on this Chainlink side and start commanding the troops.
I mean, I think you got to start by taking the AWP out of the hands of the player with 150 ping, right? Henry G trying to get aggressive on that Deagle. The AK just eluding those T-Rex arms that we all know and love. Will be picked up by Rope Jumper. But yeah, I think you've got to take the AWP out of Emic's hands, right? He's on 170 ping. He's not going to be able to hit those clean shots. Put it into someone like Beastu, obviously Henry G, someone on low ping who can really make the most of the opportunities. But with an early man advantage now, Chainlink looking to make something of this. I don't know what to call this, force buy, half buy, somewhere in the middle, isn't it? They've got Orps, they've got Famas, and then there's 3 Deagles on players who are saving. So potential opportunity if they can overwhelm players here. Some nice crossfires set up over towards this B-bomb site. And Beastu, who's been hitting some shots, playing the Kenny S angle on short with that ult behind him to back him up. If he can get a frag or two here, fall off the angle, it could be huge, but spotted out, he's going to have to drop early, and now that ult can be piled under pressure towards the sandbags. Nothing he can do at all as Indy finds the frag. And again, it's Chainlink scrambling for these rotations.
Matthew has a decent enough angle here to support Henry. That's a smoke towards CT that doesn't quite cover the mark. Henry, meanwhile, moved across the short. Whoa, not expecting them up so quick, but he manages to take down Molten, who has somewhat fluffed that. Why are there so many pushing short, he says in the team speak. Bistu trying to do what he can. Mike, gotta find this, bro. Gotta find this. Oh, that's rough. Indy getting away with absolute murder, figuratively and literally, leaving it all on to Matthew. Indy looking for the ace here in round number 18. Gonna get it as well. The 10th round on the board for Umbrella Network comes from pretty much just one player. Again, Chainlink getting close, but not quite over that finish line.
Finance is looking very solid for the T side now as well. Starting to get very scary, and as a result, we've got Henry G pulling out the glass cannon AWP, looking to have some impact. Rifles around him, good amount of utility on Beastu and Mike as well. Hopefully some of those old 1.3 lineups still work on the CT side, but an early split for the T's. Umbrella taking some early aggression, but it's Henry G straight through the smoke to open things up. Beastu there to back him up on short, goes down to 30 HP, but it matters not. The frag has come through. Van G able to trade for one. And again, Henry on this cross, finding some good tags, buying time. Mike just needs to stay alive here, and the flashes will give him room to do so. This is more like it from the CT side. Mike goes down, but there's Henry to back him up. No scope doesn't quite land. And maybe Indy can just pull off this clutch. 29 HP, the reload is heard. Beastu has just spotted him out, and the lineup is clean as you like. Chainlink right back in it, and even saving the AWP.
Okay, here we go. It's a nice round to pick up as well, because, you know, Umbrella were vulnerable, as you can see coming into this round. Yes, indeed. They have managed to string 3 together, convert things. It was a bit messy, financially speaking, from the CT side of the equation, but it does mean, because of how close some of those rounds are coming, that Umbrella Network also not as super secure as they would like. But Fihar just charging in. Oh, going to catch the long players. Emic as well will be annoyed. Nade in hand. You've got to be careful not to get caught rotating nades. It can happen from time to time, and, well, it might just cost them big in this round.
Huge decision to make for the CT side. Economy really not there. It's a nice pot flash from Henry G for one, but that AWP needs so much more impact. The rest of his team not even remotely committing. The rotations will start to come through, but such a nice afterplant for the T side. Indy just lining it up. The wall bang not even giving Henry G a sniff of a frag there. These 2 remaining players, again, this is such an awkward retake. The economy isn't there to support it. They give it a go, sure. But at this point, surely Matthew, with the time left on the clock, exit frag and get out of here. Indy is already hunting down his last man and will find his second frag of the round, even saving that AWP across for the Umbrella Network as well, making it look all too easy. As once more, Chainlink on the fence. No real economy to work with. Backs against the wall, in need of something a little bit special.
A hero. A knight in shining armor, something along those lines. Maybe Matthew going for the buy once again. Unfortunately, the wrong time once again. That's fine. You know, we can certainly see that there's a little bit of the lack of experience, perhaps, or familiarity with CS:GO. I'm not entirely sure, but all the same, everybody else is on the eco. They're on the same kind of page. 4 out of 5 is not the end of the world. Definitely workable. And good few bodies in towards A here. They do need to be careful not to get caught off by it. It looks good, looks solid from the T side. You know, 1 on the edge of the smoke, 1 on the back of the site playing a headshot angle. Could have been disastrous, but it's not going to be the case. And now the B rotators coming through long pretty fast. They have a chance to do some damage here, I think.
If they can catch an isolated rifle, that'd be fantastic. Go and save one of them, but Fia, the spray control is all too good. Matthew catches him reloading, but it's not even going to matter. The quick switch to the pistol to finish the job. A 12th round on the board for the Umbrella Network. And again, CT side, you've got to say it, they're just starting to run out of chances now. Henry G, 28 and 20, putting some serious numbers on the board, but he needs someone to step up with him. Next nearest 18, then we're down to single digits. Somebody's got to step up for that CT side besides Henry G. Someone's going to put their name up to be counted, and Mike, well, he's going to be in trouble already. Tag through those doors, and as a result, the Umbrella Network just straight into this B-bomb site. They know there's damage on the board, and they know the spray downs will land. Fiha and Indy just making it look all too easy. Rush A until that stops working. Now we'll rush B, and Emic, well, he's going to be put under pressure. Will hit a nice flick onto the first, but a 4-on-3 retake over towards that B-bomb site with bomb already down is going to be so difficult to land.
Gonna go for it, though. They need a round like this, you know, one that is stacked against them. They need it to go their way. No kit available. Ooh, that's a bit awkward. The walk out towards the double doors. I mean, why would you go for that? But nonetheless, he's still able to find it. Dodgy spray onto rope, but also able to find that. Now it's all down to him. 3 quick frags so far. The bomb not planned to default. Actually kind of working out for him in a sense. Gonna tap it, but I don't think there's any time left. Vanjie doesn't even need to find the frag yet. They're all expecting the bomb to be default, but it's just not. And it inadvertently wins Umbrella the round, I think. If he'd have just ran, got on the bomb, there is a chance that he could have got the smoke defuse, in all honesty, with it being in such an awkward spot. But it's the way the cookie crumbles. Umbrella Network starting to edge ahead pretty solidly and maybe even close the game out in the near future.
Definitely feels like that T side, isn't it? It's where the individuals can flourish, less reliance on teamwork, and we're seeing some of these big fraggers, Indy, Vanjie, really showing up to the playing field. Fast play out along, pop flashes for everyone. Henry G this time pop flashed in beautifully by Beasto, and 2 quick frags completely shuts Umbrella Network out of that early aggression, and that's the first time we've really seen them been shut down, right? It's the first time we've seen them pushed away from their initial aggressions. We've seen Chainlink repetitively give up that long control, repetitively fall back to the sites and just be overwhelmed by the rushes. This time, they take the fight to the T side and it works out. Looking to do so again with Beastu straight through the smoke. A little bit of a gap in it, and Henry G knows his lineups. Fiha and Rope Jumper both desperately low as the pincer movement tries to land. Fiha, lovely spray down for 1, but as his teammates' numbers are thin, this is going to get awkward once more. Just 14 HP for the Fortnite player. Vanjie actually stuck with the bomb outside of window. And with an MP9 in the middle of sight to take advantage of the low HP, this is going to become awful. It's Vanjie to at least find the trade, but there's Matthews swinging in for the refrag from behind. Chainlink get their double digits, and perhaps there's a little bit of life left in this CT side.
Yeah, and it's at a point where, you know, it's not... I mean, CS as a game is never over until it's over, but it's not at a point where there is so much pressure on you, you know, and there's so much work to do. It's such a hard battle. You know, we start using phrases like that. It is still within the realms of, you know, snatching back control. It's not quite yet Umbrella Network's game to lose. This B-Rush, though, might have something to say about that. All 5 players charging in. No one really set up and ready on the edge of the smoke. Mike looks good for maybe a couple, not quite able to get it. Henry G traded instantly. Can't catch my breath as it's such a fast round with a flurry of frags. In comes Beastu, though, finds 2 and makes this look doable. Fiha, the Fortnite player, up against Emic, and Emic will take him down with a clean flick. The 11th round for Chainlink. It is very costly and very, very close. They'll get it on the board.
Rounds are all that matter at this point. They've just got to start stringing them together, and the refrags somehow work out for that CT side. It was pure chaos on that B-bomb site, complete and utter madness, and it just about worked out. Emic, should we say a risky play? Pushing through the smoke into the B-bomb site, no utility behind him, just trying to land what he can, but he makes it work, and that's the most important thing. It's actually forced Umbrella Network to rethink their plans somewhat. No opening aggression this time. Nice and slow on their opening presence, clearing out the upper tunnels, working their way into a mid-split and waiting for the aggression, which does come through. Vanjie, it's awkward, doesn't land the initial shot, will be dinked down low, but finds the frag regardless. Early man advantage now, and if they start to look to barrel into one of these bomb sites, some real potential for Umbrella Network to get 14.
Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Emic as well, going to give away another frag. Mike trying, there's a crossfire here. To be fair, him and Beast are able to take down Rope. The smoke comes in. return smoke counter utility. So it's not the best way of doing things, but it does. I mean, it slows them down, right? It deters them for now with the threat of, running through a smoke being so high within this game. And of course, two of those players being very, very low indeed on the Umbrella Network side of things. They are just floating in and around middle, 40 seconds left. Running this clock down, they've got to make a move. Nice little flash. Again, though, not quite committing to anything just yet. And I feel Mike should be able to hear these footsteps in just a second here. Without Henry, they've got to try and clutch things up against the odds once again.
Lots of damage on the board at least, but Mike goes too soon. Molten catches him. The smoke pluming just a split second too late to save the CT man's life. And now, two players down, too many angles, too many crossfires. Van G will find another despite being low HP. Beastu flashes himself through, manages to isolate the initial man, but with 3 players on site, there's just no way he can find a continuous streak of clean 1v1s to the Umbrella Network. Once again, they're going to get around on the board. 14 now as they really start to reel in that victory. Henry G, you've got to say, doing everything he can. 31 frags on the board, desperately trying to keep Chainlink in it. Clearly the crypto he believes in, and they're going to go for a pretty strong force buy here as well. 2 Deagles, Orp onto Emic as well. Matthew manages to get his hands on an M4A4. The problem is they're coming up against 5 AKs and pretty much full utility across the board.
It is a scary prospect here to stay alive. Well, feels like ultimately to stay alive. Mike going in towards middle, will get taken down by Indy. No return damage from that frag either. So a very, very clean one to open up for Chainlink. And now Umbrella Network are looking to press the advantage. Emic going to be tagged down to 9 HP. The nade to follow up. Does find a frag before going down. Is well found in all honesty, but the B-bomb site, it was all a ploy. The B-bomb site has fallen, and once again, it's a man disadvantage on the retake. He's trying to do what he can. Gets traded instantly, though, so you kind of straight back to square one. Henry through the smoke, able to find the head of Indy. Bomb has been planted, no kit available, and now only Henry G remains. Flash goes in, ineffective, and he will get taken down. Umbrella Network move up to map and match point.
Opportunity to knock the Titans out here, make it 4 of them, 4 series points for the Umbrella Network. And again, you look over at that CT economy, you start to ask some very serious questions. For FAMAS, just the 1 rifle available and coming up against the full util, the AWP in the hands of Fiha. He has looked pretty electric so far this series, if we're honest, and you can see the CT side having to make some executive decisions early on. Henry G is going to get aggressive over towards B, but Van G with the lineup, it's all too easy to take out the early man, and long control has been given away essentially for free by the CT forces. They're trying to group. They're trying to put some players in the line of fire here. Nice pot flash for Beastu. He'll be able to get 1. No trade apparent for the T side either. As Rope Jumper trying to land this spray onto site will finally connect. Man advantages just keep coming the way of this T side, and it's complete and utter chaos. But 2-on-2 with the bomb down. Still plenty of time on the clock, and Fiha whiffing that AWP shot makes life very awkward indeed for this T side of Umbrella Network. They really need this flank from Van G to land, and the CTs are giving him nothing.
Down goes Emic. All onto Beastu. Will manage to get the trades. He vaguely knows where Fiar is as well. You know, he's been ringing shots out. Needs to find this kill on the cross. Ooh. He gets taken down. Going to go for a reposition. That'll give full control across to Fihar. Smoke retrieved. Of course, no kit available. A Zeus. Is it the lucky Zeus? Could that make all the difference? The $1 million question. 30 seconds remaining, and well, Fihar on the reposition. They're just going to walk past each other, and well, vertically and horizontally, really. It's a weird kind of scenario. Rush straight towards the B-bomb site here from Fihar through the tunnels. May well give him the positional advantage that he needs. Beastu hard posted over towards A. Not going to be ready for this plant at all.
That's so unfortunate. The timing's just absolutely critical. Both players shift walking, no sound cues given. Fiha toying with the idea of taking the fight. It's actually gone straight out, and he's given his position away as well. Bihu with the spray down, but he can't quite connect. It will be the Umbrella Network who find themselves the victory. It was a hard-fought game. It was back and forth for so long. but eventually Chainlink just can't quite get that CT side together. A couple of missed opportunities, a couple of critical rounds, and once again, the T side reigns supreme for the Umbrella Network.
Yes, indeed. 40 kill participation for the big man, Henry G. Unfortunately, it is not enough in the end. It seems to be a common theme that indeed you might have the player with the highest ceiling, but that doesn't necessarily equal the victory, to be honest. It was kind of the case yesterday. Boptatet, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, seemed to be the most impressive player on the server. But unfortunately, his team came out on the losing side of things. So it's a running theme. If you've got a nice, solid base, nice and even, everyone's able to hold their own, but maybe indeed not the flashiest of play, that looks a little more effective in this tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely been the case, right? And I think that's what's going to happen when you've got such a variety of skill ceilings. You're going to have the team that is just consistently applying themselves, is consistently fragging, just trading across the board. It's going to win you rounds more often than not, right? You're going to have some hero players. We saw them from the likes of Henry G, Bihu putting up some rounds as well, the old Source player from France. But if you haven't got that backbone behind you, there's only so much a hard carry can do. And once again, we see it coming through. Umbrella Network booking their place in the semis, coming up against Chain Gaming. That could be very interesting indeed.
Yeah, two very, very evenly matched teams, I think. So for me, that's going to be relatively exciting. It's a little bit far off into the future. We've got 2 more quarters to get through, of course. But I believe, unfortunately, we don't have an interview for the Umbrella Network side of things, perhaps, due to virtue of time zones and whatnot. But that's pretty much going to be it from us. So I think, indeed, we will close the show. We will say thank you for watching. Of course, do be sure to follow and make sure that you're here for the next time. We'll get more companies on to talk about the crypto space and what they are doing within it. But until let me just check here, the 4th, which I believe is Thursday? Yes. it's all blending into one, and we've just had February as well, which when you're working a Zoomer job is just not. It's a weird month, isn't it? There's like 3 days that seem to be not there. It's very strange. But either way, I've been Scriv, he's been Wolfie. Thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you again on Thursday.
Exeedme, a revolutionary platform that allows athletes to compete and earn money in real time. Wherever they are in the world, they can be playing their favorite game, pushing players to the limit. Exeedme puts players competing against each other, measuring and evaluating their performance, taking them to a new reality. With our platform, you just need to choose your favorite game and place your bet. Exeedme will find the perfect opponent for you, matching your skills and experience according to your ranking. Know more about your emotions. Learn how to be more focused, more accurate, faster. Take it to another level. Exceed yourself and win. Exeedme, the evolution of competition.
Exeedme é uma revolução para jogadores amadores e profissionais. Podemos jogar, ganhar dinheiro e entender o nosso desempenho ao longo do jogo. Posso comparar a Exeedme a empresas como a PokerStars, que trouxeram a possibilidade aos jogadores de viverem de algo que até ali era um hobby e melhorar as suas habilidades enquanto fazem algo que adoram.